Greetings, my lovelies, and welcome to Monday Mantra. So, today it is, I think, a very, very special day. Every day is a special day, but today, I believe, marks the beginning of us going back to work. Certainly us in the real estate industry. Now, I want to frame all this by saying that we must use caution, we must use social distancing, we must use all of the techniques that have been spoken about in the news multiple times. Dr. Fauci, there are a number of authorities that have given us very, very clear guidelines. But I think it is now time to kind of stand up to COVID. And for those of us that can, because not everybody can, for those of us that can go back to work, I believe it is our duty to go back to work. COVID has caused enough damage. And I am at the point where I'm like, enough already. I need to get back to work safely. I need to get back to work thinking about other people. I need to get back to work in no way, shape or form being risky, transmitting the disease, coming into contact with people. But I absolutely feel I need to do my duty to the American economy by getting back to work as much as I possibly can. I'm an early riser, as many of you know, and I've been at it since 5 o'clock this morning, and I intend to do that every single day. If I have to meet people, I'm wearing the mask, I'm wearing the gloves, I'm carrying the sanitizer, I'm doing all the stuff that one can do, but I will not live in fear. I will not live in fear anymore. Yes, I'm scared of COVID. We're all scared of COVID. I'm scared of a tiger, but I'm not going to be in fear of COVID. Right? This doesn't mean I'm going to be risky, but I'm not just going to be shuttered up in my home. I'm going to support the local economy. I'm going to support local restaurants. I'm going to support Los Angeles vendors whenever I possibly can, and I encourage you to do the same. But fear shall not be the navigator of this spiritual compass. I refuse to allow it. It was really scary there for a moment, especially if you've got children or you've got old folks in your family, as most of us do. You know, it is a scary moment, but I refuse to be beaten down. I was watching a show last night where they actually used one of Winston Churchill's speeches in the show, and I'm going to actually read a section from this speech, which I think is absolutely poignant to today. If you can imagine, I want to set the scene for you. London and Britain is getting pounded by constant bombings in the Second World War. We are just getting the crap knocked out of us. We are just getting pummeled. Now, in the Second World War, they were just bombing anything, right? Everybody was bombing everything. Not that I'm an authority on the Second World War, but it was a very, very grim time. My parents both lived through the Second World War, God bless them. And so I want to give you a rousing clip of a speech that Churchill delivered going on about, what are we at? About 80 years ago now. 80 years ago approximately. And I think it's very, very poignant to what's going on with COVID and how our mentality is beginning to shift. We're beginning to believe that we can get back on the road to be normal. I'm going to use Sir Winston Churchill's words because they really resonate with me. I am British after all. The fridge. But let me read this portion of this speech for you. Never give in. Never give in. Never, 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 never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty. Never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy. There will be no flinching and no thought of giving in. And by what seemed almost a miracle to those outside these islands, though we ourselves never doubted it, we now find ourselves in a position where I say that we can be sure that we only have to persevere to conquer. Do not let us speak of darker days. These are not dark days. These are great days. The greatest days our country has ever lived. We must all thank God that we have been allowed, each of us according to our stations, to play a part in making these days memorable in the history of our nation. Wow. That brings a lump to the throat. That's 80 years ago when Britain was getting pounded in the Second World War by bombs night after night after night after night. Well, here in America and the rest of the world, we are getting pounded night after night, day after day, night after night, day after day. And I, for one, refuse to yield to that fear. It is our duty to work as hard as we can to thwart this invisible foe. With each challenge, we adopt and we evolve. And if that means we need to wear masks and we need to wear gloves and we need to have social distancing and, have gatherings no bigger than 2 or 3 or whatever the number is, then we do it. But I have to contribute. I can't just be a wilting flower and watch the world go by. I must lead my people that work at PLG, and I must show that I support this great nation and everything she stands for. That's why I moved here. So I'm not telling you guys to rush out. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel comfortable. Moreover, I respect that if you don't. And it doesn't make you a better or worse person if you stay home for another month. I'm just saying me. I need to pound. I need to grind it out. I need to work. And I need to spit in the face of fear. I'm going to move through it with grace, with strength, with care, with health. Knock on wood. I want to just touch upon another point. Paying it forward. I saw this happen to me personally. I took my kids out to get something from Starbucks, right? We were in the drive-thru. We all had our masks on. We all had our gloves on. There were 5 of us in the car. There was one guy in the car ahead of us. He could see us all, right? I get to the counter. He'd paid for my entire order, and my order was way bigger than his. And the lady at the counter who was wearing a mask said he wanted to pass it forward. That is beautiful. And then I watched the news, trying not to choke up here. I watched the news of these people who are getting their $1,200 checks. A lot of them are just donating it to other people that need it more than them. You just got to watch CNN or whatever news outlet you want. This is powerful. Powerful, powerful, powerful. My heartfelt thoughts are with the people who have been affected. This is a lethal, awful, awful tragedy. I want to finish with this. I am done being fearful. I will be cautious. I will be healthful. But I will work my ass off as much as I possibly can. Even if that means I need to do it remotely for the next 6 months. Ladies and gentlemen, never give in, as Sir Winston said. Never give in. I, for one, am certainly not giving in. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to wish you love. I want to wish you health. Stay safe. Stay home if you want to. And work if you can. God bless. And I'll see you on the other side next week. Adios.